Hey everyone, it's Anand from UnderdogStrength.com, and if you've already subscribed to my channel, you may have noticed that I don't really share a lot of shirtless pics like a lot of other fitness channels do. And part of this is, I want to focus on the actual content and not just the looks. But it's also because even though I've worked so hard at losing all this weight and building all this muscle, and it's kind of frustrating at times, but I also have a lot of loose skin, and which is also quite embarrassing at times, especially when you compare your physique to other popular fitness influencers or popular people who look really fit along with being fit as well. So this is what I'm looking like right now. As you can see, I'm under 15% body fat. I'm about 1 week out from my powerlifting competition, and I still have some ab definition, somewhat of a 4-pack, but you can clearly see that there's a lot of excess skin. And I'm about 160 pounds right now, and I do hold a decent amount of muscle. I'm fairly lean compared to most people. As you can see, I do have some vascularity, and also have some loose skin around my legs. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, just like inner thigh area. So even though I have a lot of muscle mass, the loose skin is still gonna be there. And right now it doesn't look so bad because I've kind of tucked it in, but if I was to pull the skin out, then you can see how bad it actually is. And I've seen a lot worse, so I'm not too discouraged by it, but it is what it is, guys. But when I tuck it in like that, it doesn't really look too bad, And because I have more muscle mass than most people, it doesn't really look that bad. It could have looked a lot worse than if I had no muscle mass, And in case you don't know my story, I've lost well over 125 pounds and have also kept this weight off for more than a decade. So my goal with this channel is to help you achieve your fitness goals as well, especially if you want to become lean and strong. Now, I used to be morbidly obese pretty much all of my life growing up. In fact, even as a teenager, I used to weigh well over 275 pounds, and my waist was almost 48 to 50 inches. So I had an almost 50-inch waist. And then it's not like I had not tried to lose weight, but I tried to lose weight multiple times, trying all the different methods, and ultimately I figured it out, where I started focusing on strength training to focus on fat loss and not just weight loss. And I really started to see results. But as I was losing weight and as I lost more and more weight, I started to notice that my skin, especially around my belly, was sagging quite a bit. And this was very frustrating because you're putting in all this work in the gym. You're making sure that your training is on point, you're doing all your cardio, your nutrition is on point, and you're seeing the weight go down on the scale every single week. But there's unfortunately things that you cannot control, which is things such as having stretch marks, having loose skin. Stuff like that is for the most part outside your control. And eventually, after losing all this weight, I've lost almost 20 inches of my waist. I think my lowest waist measurement was about 31 inches. So that's like a 20-inch difference. So obviously, if you lose 20 inches of your waist, you can expect that there's gonna be some loose skin over there, because my skin was simply so expanded out there that after your fat cells shrink, then there's nothing to hold on to that skin anymore. And people say that you should give it time, because your skin is essentially, it's an organ. Like I said, I've kept this weight off for almost a decade, and my skin hasn't really seemed to become much better. I think there's a slight improvement, but I still have a lot of loose skin simply because of the magnitude of weight loss that I had. And from my observation, I've actually coached a lot of people to lose weight as well. And from my observation, whenever you lose about 100 pounds or more, then you're most likely going to have some sort of loose skin. It's just pretty much inevitable. Like, For example, I have a younger brother who was also very overweight like me, but he's lost just under 100 pounds, probably 80 to 90 pounds, something like that. And he doesn't really have much loose skin at all, if any. It's not noticeable. But since I've lost over 125 pounds, then I have loose skin. And there's a lot of other factors that go into this, such as your age, your genetics, stuff like that, which you cannot really control. So as you can see here, I actually look pretty lean compared to most people, especially with a shirt on. And this is because my body fat percentage right now is about 14%, and I just did a DEXA scan recently to confirm this. So in case you don't know, DEXA is considered to be one of, if not the most accurate measurements of your body fat percentage. So I'm fairly lean compared to most people, even though I'm not as lean as a bodybuilder would be. And you can see I have good vascularity and stuff like that. But when I take my shirt off, it's a completely different story, because this excess skin that I have is making me hold on, or making me look a lot fatter than I am. And yeah, there is some fat over there, and I've heard and I've talked to other strength coaches who say that once you get to about 10% body fat or so, then your loose skin the appearance should be better. But I don't think that's the case for me, because I've been as lean as 13% confirmed by DEXA, and I still had a lot of excess skin. And to be honest, having 10% body fat is not healthy and sustainable for a lot of people, especially if you've been overweight like me. And just to put things into context, my body fat percentage used to be about 50%. That's half my body used to be body fat. So for a former obese guy to become that lean, it's actually not that easy, because the thing is, your fat cells that you have and the number of fat cells that you have don't actually go away. So if you're obese and you have a lot more fat cells than a lean person, after losing all this weight, your fat cells simply shrink in size, but they don't really go away. And why is this important? Well, it's because you on a molecular level, even though you're looking lean, you still have a lot of fat cells, and each individual fat cell it has shrunken quite a bit. So your body still thinks that it's starving, and there are a lot of hormones that play into this. Probably the most important hormone is called leptin, and leptin is produced in your fat cells, and the amount of leptin you have depends on how much fat you have. So the more fat you have, the more leptin your body produces, and the less fat you have, the less leptin your body produces. And leptin is also known as a regulator of your metabolic rate and also your appetite. So what happens is, when you lose all this weight, or when you have a massive weight loss, then your body still thinks that it's starving, so your hunger levels are still going to be elevated, and your metabolic rate is also going to be suppressed. So if you weigh about 160 pounds like I do, then your metabolic rate will be lower than someone who's naturally 160 pounds and has never been fat. So that's just something to consider. So for this reason, I'm not sure if, even if I get down to 10% body fat or lower, it's not going to be a very sustainable solution. So the only other solution that seems to be there, it seems to be surgery, removing excess skin. And a lot of people have had success with this, but for me, I don't know if I want to get surgery. Especially, there's a few reasons for this. One of the reasons is that it can be pretty expensive, and I'd rather spend that money on something that will enhance my life in other ways. So investing in my education, learning new skills, investing in myself, just becoming a better version of myself that has nothing to do with my appearance. The second reason is that when you get the surgery, I'm afraid that even though they remove all the excess skin, I'm still going to have some scars left over. So so from a physical point of view, it's not really going to make a difference. It's still going to look pretty bad regardless. Right now I have excess skin, but then I'm going to have a big scar or something. Again, I'm not an expert at surgery or cosmetic surgery or anything like that, but if you know anything better than what I know, then make sure to leave a comment down below and let me know. And the third reason is, surgeries can be scary. I've never had any sort of surgery ever in my life, so it's just something that scares me. It's not something that I'm looking forward to. So those are the three reasons why I have not gotten surgery yet. But with all of that out of the way, I want to really encourage you and send you a positive message that don't let the fear of having loose skin prevent you from losing weight, because losing weight is so worth it, and it's going to make you so much of a better person that goes beyond what you look like physically. Like, even before I lost weight, I used to think about, I want to look a certain way, but I always focused on the actual process and becoming a better version of myself. And if you watch my last video or my last training vlog, I talked about don't be attached to the outcome. Focus instead on the process. So in my attempt to lose all this weight, I actually learned to enjoy the process so much that, I every single day, even today that I step into the gym, I really enjoy it so much. I wouldn't do anything else. It's just something that I love to do, and I enjoy pushing myself in the gym and focusing on getting stronger, improving my technique, and all of those things I learned after starting my weight loss journey. But those things have still stuck with me. So even though because of my skin I'm not looking a certain way, it doesn't really bother me that much. Like, I'll be honest, I'm pretty insecure at times, especially, times when I have to take my shirt off. But I've done it multiple times. I've been on the beach, and it doesn't really bother me that much. And when I tell a lot of people, people like my co-workers and stuff like that I used to be obese, they actually refuse to believe me. And even though sometimes I may show them my old pictures, they still can't believe it. But this having loose skin is like proof, right? It's like a souvenir of my past life, what my body used to be like. So it's oftentimes it's a great reminder to you that, where it reminds you of where you've been and how far you've come since then. The point of this video is that I encourage you to focus on what you can control and forget about the things that you cannot control, because if we keep focusing on those things, then it's ultimately going to make us unhappy. In my situation, I could go out there and get surgery, but I'm not getting surgery because of the reasons that I just mentioned. So that is a personal choice that I'm making. And yeah, it kind of sucks that I have loose skin, but I've learned to accept it, and I've learned to focus instead on the things that I can control. And that is, I can continue to push myself in the gym, gain more muscle, get stronger. I can continue to focus on my diet so that over time my body composition improves. And even though I have loose skin, I'm gonna look way better than most people who are out of shape that are out there. If you want to learn exactly how I lost over 125 pounds, then make sure to watch this video right here. And if you like this video, then please share it with a friend. Thank you so much for watching, and stay strong.